Welcome everyone to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a hammer to a story we're sold literally every single time we open up social media. You know the one, right? That relentless, exhausting hustle culture grind. We're told it's the absolute ultimate path to success. But is it the whole truth? Well, let's find out.
Okay, let's dive right in. We've all heard this mantra. If you work hard enough, if you grind long enough, you too can become a billionaire. We're constantly fed this idea that if we just perfectly copy the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, the ice baths, and the exact mindsets of the ultra-rich, it's a guaranteed ticket right to the top. And honestly, millions of people are taking notes.
But here's the really uncomfortable truth that nobody selling you a $600 success course actually wants to admit. Not everyone earned it. To protect yourself from spending years chasing a non-existent formula, you've got to understand that some rich people got there through inheritance, some through connections you and I will simply never have, some through pure luck they'll never mention, and, well, a few got there through means that were downright unfair or even illegal.
Which brings us to Section 1, the self-made myth. Research repeatedly shows us that a massive chunk of billionaire wealth is inherited, not self-made. Actually, if you look at the trends from recent years, the new billionaires minted through inheritance sometimes rival or even completely blow past the ones who built their wealth through entrepreneurship. So for every rags to riches story we celebrate, there is someone else who just walked right into a fortune.
Section 2, the birth lottery advantage.
Think about it like this. When someone who inherited a massive business empire tells you the secret to success is extreme confidence and taking huge risks, they're playing a game with a totally different set of rules. An invisible family safety net completely changes the math here. Taking wild risks is incredibly easy when you know a giant fortune is there to catch you if you fall. For them, failure equals embarrassment. But if you're starting from zero, failure equals homelessness. So, we need to talk about intergenerational wealth. Simply put, this is the transfer of wealth, assets, and financial advantages across generations of a family. Economists who study social mobility have looked closely at this, and their findings are pretty staggering. The single biggest predictor of whether you'll be wealthy isn't your brilliant intellect, and actually, scratch that, it's not your unmatched work ethic either. It's how wealthy your parents were.
Consider this incredibly uncomfortable fact. The merely average child of a rich family often ends up wealthier than the highly exceptional child of a poor family. Why do we need to highlight this? Because you should absolutely not blame yourself for outcomes that were economically stacked against you from the very beginning. People living inside that wealthy bubble genuinely believe they did it all themselves because from the inside, those advantages are invisible. It's just the water they swim in.
Moving on to Section 3, fraudsters and fake founders.
History is literally packed with these kinds of stories. We're talking about celebrated tech founders whose deeply admired empires were actually built on vicious anti-competitive tactics just meant to crush rivals. We're talking about financial CEOs who built massive, outright fraudulent schemes hiding in plain sight, literally right on the covers of respected magazines. And the absolute worst part? For years, hardworking, ordinary people were unknowingly using these individuals as their daily inspiration.
The real danger here is that the fraudster and the founder often wear the exact same suit. They sit down for the exact same confident interviews, and they offer the exact same inspiring quotes about hustle and vision. Because of this, it is incredibly difficult to tell the difference between a genuinely hardworking success story and a fraudster whose entire foundation is completely rotten.
Let's look at Section 4, the survivorship bias trap.
So how do we keep falling for these stories? Well, it mostly comes down to survivorship bias. This is what happens when we concentrate on the people who passed a selection process while completely ignoring those who didn't. In the real world, this means we obsessively study the one single winner who took an insane risk and made billions, but we completely ignore the 10,000 other people who took the exact same risk and lost absolutely everything. Those 10,000 people don't get book deals, right? They just quietly disappear, leaving us with a dangerously distorted conclusion about how success actually works.
Now, you might be wondering, does this mean hard work is totally pointless? Is everything just luck, inheritance, or fraud? No, absolutely not. I want to pivot from this cynical reality back to an empowering perspective, because the whole point of understanding all of this is not to make you hopeless. Genuine, honest success still exists, and it is entirely possible.
Section 5, how to spot real success.
All right, here is a practical 3-step playbook to help you identify legitimate role models. Step 1,
Ask where they started. Did they inherit a fortune, a massive network, or a famous last name? Because if they did, their advice about taking huge risks might be absolutely useless for someone who is actually starting from absolute zero. Step 2. Look for the boring parts. I mean it. Look for the unglamorous, repetitive grind. Real legitimate success is almost always built on years of boring, skill-building work that literally nobody ever posts about online. You should be highly suspicious of stories entirely filled with private jets and mindset hacks, but that make absolutely zero mention of the long, tedious work it takes to build a foundation. Step 3. Focus on genuine value. The honest path to wealth generally involves solving a real problem, serving real people, and creating legitimate, lasting impact. If you look at a successful person and you cannot, for the life of you, figure out what actual, tangible value they created for the world, yeah, that is a massive red flag.
So here's the bottom line. Hard work is still the most reliable path for someone starting from nothing. Is it the fastest path? No. Is it guaranteed? No way. But for people out there without an inheritance or a wealthy safety net to fall back on, gaining real skill and putting in honest effort are absolutely the most dependable tools you have in your belt. The real tragedy would be giving up on hard work just because you compared yourself to a mirage. The biggest danger isn't that hard work doesn't pay off. It's that you might give up completely due to toxic comparisons with inheritors or cheaters who dressed up their massive advantages as a story of pure hustle. Please, don't let a fake highlight reel stop your real journey. Which brings us to our final provocative question. Who do you genuinely admire because they earned their success the right way? I want to challenge you today. Start investigating the actual journeys of your idols rather than just admiring the polished results. Learn from the people who truly earned it. Think about it, and let us know in the comments who your genuine role models are. Keep questioning, keep learning, and thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.